Hello everybody, my name is Ben, and I recently found an old USB stick in my drawer that I went to use for something, but when I put it in my computer to wipe it, I discovered my Year 12 biology PowerPoint presentation on a topic that I don't remember doing. Now, it's pretty hilarious script that I found alongside it, and I'd done animations and illustrations that I don't remember this topic at all. So I thought it'd be really funny if I reperformed my Year 12 biology SAC. It was my last SAC I've had to do, but I have no memory of it. So I'm just going to read the script and go through the PowerPoint as it is. So let's begin, shall we? Since man first dropped his raw gazelle carcass into an open fire and discovered meat tastes better cooked, man has constantly been searching for ways to improve things. From choc chip muffins to high-definition plasma television screens, man is always trying to make things bigger, better, and more efficient. So it should come to no surprise to anyone that farmers are trying to do the same thing. Reproductive technologies and their application in plants and animals. Reproductive technology, or assisted reproduction, is man's attempt to make animal or plant reproduction bigger, better, and more efficient. Farming is quite an expensive endeavor, and farmers are always looking for ways to maximize their profits. In the past, strenuous amounts of time and effort were invested in the breeding of animals to the point where animal husbandry became a fine art. But that fine art is now a waste of time thanks to modern-day science. Using cutting-edge reproductive technologies, farmers are able to manipulate just about everything in an animal's natural breeding cycle and exploit it to break every law of nature our forefathers once knew to mass-produce animals at a higher quantity and quality. Today I will be taking you through the basics of some of these modern-day Deus Ex Machina, or should I say Deus Sex Machina technologies that allow farmers to produce more meat per beat. The technologies we'll be looking at today include artificial insemination, multiple ovulation and embryo transfer, or MOT, sex selection through sperm sorting, manipulating breeding cycles. So first let's look at artificial insemination. Artificial insemination, or AI, is a process in which a population of animals' natural random mating patterns can be manipulated through technology. According to the will of the farmers or scientists, sperm can be collected from one male animal and can be artificially introduced into another or several female animals of the same species. Here I have prepared a cartoon illustration of how artificial insemination works. So first of all we have the stud animal. I apparently drew this, but I have no memory. He is selected for his favored genetics, as you can see. In this example, we're going to use cows. This stud is favored for his meat-bearing qualities. Then an attractive female cow. Oh gosh, where did I draw this? Or teaser is introduced to entice the male so he gets excited. However, before the stud can mate with the female, he is hooked up to a machine that collects his semen instead. Sorry, I lost my place. Now, in the realm of cows, that's enough sperm in one ejaculation to successfully inseminate 10 cows. I believe I drew this. So the sperm is divided into 10 equal parts and used to impregnate 10 cows, which in turn yields 10 offspring of the stud. So put it in 10 cows. Is 10 offspring being produced. This is in contrast to natural one-to-one mating, in which the same amount of semen would normally produce just one offspring. So with artificial insemination, I can fertilize many more females than nature could. Notable benefits of artificial insemination. Now, AI also comes with some beneficial benefits. Firstly, the collected sperm can be frozen. This involves mixing the sperm with a number of different chemicals with controlled pH levels and so at temperatures of minus 906 degrees Celsius. This was first carried out successfully in 1949. Here is a picture of frozen sperm and eggs. I'm not sure if the picture will come up, but frozen sperm and eggs can be stored and used after death. Once frozen, the sperm can be sent around the world. Say I was a farmer in Australia and I had a really genetically superior stud, like the Hugh Jackman of bovine. like the Hugh Jackman of the bovine world. My farmer friend in America had a really wimpy, unhealthy male cow. I could send him some of my stud semen, and he could use that to breed my prize cow's offspring into his population, thus saving his hamburger factory. Or if my stud cow died, I could still produce superior offspring by using his stored semen even after death. However, like everything in life, there are a couple of negative consequences associated with AI, such as overuse of AI may result in specific alleles of a few selected genes. Oh, here's the frozen semen. Gross. The downside of artificial insemination. Sorry. May result in specific alleles of a few selected genes becoming predominant. So say if when looking at our stud cow we choose it purely because it looks like its phenotype suggests it has the most meat, we may overlook the fact that genetically has a problem like weak knees. There go to some weak-ass counties. If we bred lots of offspring based on one cow, then predominantly my population will have lots of meat, but weak knees. Of it, the stud had some kind of mutation, the whole population would end up with mutation. This is otherwise known as inbreeding. Also, potentially valuable alleles may be lost from genetic composition. For instance, in breeding cows, we might overlook the fact that some have genetic immunity to diseases, and this immunity is lost forever, causing future problems for farmers. There you go, there's a stunning example of a cow. Now let's talk about multiple ovulation and embryo transfer. This technique is called multiple ovulation embryo transfer. This time, as you may have guessed from the word ovulation embryo specific, farmers intervene in the natural female reproductive system. It allows farmers to multiply the contribution of favored female traits into their population, such as big udders for dairy farmers. is broken down into two steps. 1. Multiple ovulation. So in this stage, female animals are injected with follicle stimulating hormones, or FSH, which stimulates the female to superovulate, or produce multiple eggs at once. Afterwards, the female is injected with gonadotropin releasing hormone, or GnRH, which takes effect on the eggs and matures them ready for fertilization. Both FSH and GnRH are naturally secreted hormones, not secretly natural, found in most female animals. Embryo transfer is when eggs are developing for about 6 to 7 days are removed from the female because it's a bit unfair and uncomfortable for her if she's raising several babies inside her at once. So embryos are removed and transplanted into the reproductive tracts of females who act as surrogate mothers and carry embryos until they're fully developed babies. They usually obtain about 7 embryos this way, and any excess embryos are not transferred into recipient females can be frozen and stuff later on. Sex selection through sperm sorting. Another method is sex selection. Sex selection is doing what was once thought impossible and use the science to determine that gender of the baby's offspring. Semen taken from an animal in a process similar to how it's done in AI can be more closely looked at and separated into 2 groups. This is done by treating the semen with fluorescent dye. Which I think here's the fluorescent dye sorting out the X chromosomes. In mammals, the X chromosome contains more DNA than the Y chromosome and is bigger, hence the more fluorescent dye sticks to it, the stands out more. So sperm can be sorted, and the X chromosome sperm or the Y chromosome sperm can be introduced into the egg depending on whether a male animal, e.g. a bull for beef production, or a female animal, e.g. a calf for dairy production, is required. One other problem that has annoyed farmers for years is that the female... Oh, they're separated. One other problem that has annoyed farmers for years is that the female in animal populations have different times of oestrus, or are sexually receptive at different time periods, making it difficult for farmers to know which females are ready to mate, which aren't. So a process called oestrus synchronization takes place. This is a process in which farmers manipulate the female's breeding cycles so they all coincide. This has many benefits, including less time and hence labor costs spent on testing animals to see if they're oestrus or not, higher successful fertilization and birth rates. The offspring is easy to manage and catalog by farmers because all are young and born at similar times, and because the offspring are easy to manage and looked after, there's a lower mortality rate for newborns. The main way osteosynchronization is achieved is by use of a hormone called progesterone. Progesterone inhibits ovulation by stopping production of other hormones. Estrogen, other hormone, estrogen is... Wait, estrogen? Estrogen is required to bring female animals into oestrus. This seems a little odd that when we're trying to cause ostrus by inhibiting the natural process, but in injecting the progesterone, the body relies on additional sources, shuts down progesterone production. When the source of progesterone is simultaneously removed from the whole group, winter turns into summer, and all the mature females go into ostrus and ovulate all at the same time. Where are we up to now? I'm so lost.
Knocked over a tractor and ran for the door.
Hang on.
6 gallons of gas flowed out on the floor.
There are several ways progesterone is administered. This is through diet implants under the skin, sponges inserted into the vagina, or by CEDARs, which look like this and are used mainly in cattle. I guess it's that thing down the bottom. Gross. They're inserted into the reproductive tracts for 7 days. Once it's removed, the progesterone circulates in the body for 3 days before ostrus begins, giving farmers more time to plan. Ostrus synchronization can be combined with an AI and moat. In fact, ostrus synchronization is essential for moat to be successful so that all the surrogate animals are in sync. Now, for an exciting presentation. So far I've talked about reproductive technologies in animals, but what about the thrilling world of plants? Well, humans can intervene in the natural breeding process of plants in a similar fashion to AI. However, in plants, artificial insemination is known as artificial pollination. Artificial pollination has been used for thousands of years by many different people and races, but it was Gregor Mendel who first experimented with it and chronicled the process that we still largely use today. This process involves removal of the unripe stamens from plants. To be fertilized, this is done to prevent self-fertilization. Then the stigma of the female plant... Stigma, isn't it? Stigma. Of the female plant must be protected from stray pollen. The pollen is then collected using special forceps, or some other tool like in the picture. There you go, there's a picture. The pollen is transferred from one plant to another. But another cool function is that we can use science and Mendel's ancient art of pollination to create entirely new and awesome plant species. This was done to create the wheat and rye hybrid known as tricate. However, there was a problem. However, there was a problem. Due to humans forcing these two plants to breed against their will, it resulted in a hybrid that was infertile. This is a problem because it meant this wonder plant could reproduce on its own and would be impractical to sell as a product because there just wouldn't be supplies. But reproductive technologies had a way around this by introducing a chemical known as chlorotoluene, which doubled the chromosomes, meaning when the plant underwent meiosis, it had enough chromosomes to reproduce. Meaning tritricate, a wheat that could grow in cold rye-like climates, could be commercially available and worth farmers investing. Wow! Artificial pollination in plants is amazing. Reproductive technology in plants is amazing. So, technology, conclusion. Reproductive technology truly is a many splendid thing, which has transformed the quiet, tranquil lifestyle of farming into a sophisticated and cutting-edge science. Using the different techniques, farmers are able to mass-produce and farm a greater quantity and quality of animals. This is done through an incredible use of manipulation of natural processes and modern technology. So next time you eat a big juicy burger, stop for a moment and just think about how much effort went into ensuring that your burger was made with the best possible genome and phenotypes. But don't tell anyone these thoughts, or they'll think you're weird. My name is Ben, and this is my last SAC ever. Why did I include that? That's so lame. Oh. There you go. That's a presentation I gave in Year 12. Actually presented that in front of teachers and fellow peers. Got a very high score for it, if I remember correctly. Man, my presentations at uni were very different. Anyway, have a lovely day. Hope you learned something.